Our next team is going to be led by another prolific surgeon from CFS Hyderabad, Dr. Rajiv Reddy, who is going to argue for OCTA that it has changed the life for the VR surgeon. On to you, doctor. And I look forward to Dr. Vinod Agarwal, raring to a great Victoria retinal surgeon from RP Center, who will then take on to discuss against the motion. So you should be ready to take on right after Dr. Rajiv Reddy, Dr. Vinod.
Yeah, correct myself. I'm Dr. Rajaram Reddy from NeoRetina.
Sorry, Rajaram.
I'd like to thank ARC and all members of AOS for inviting me for this, for giving me this opportunity. I took the liberty to change the topic from a VR surgeon to a retina specialist because actually it doesn't really help us in your surgeries in any way. Octa has made a tremendous difference in the way we manage and treat medical retina and uveitis disorders, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Initially, when we acquired the gadget, we were using predominantly to look for macular perfusion in a non-invasive manner in case of diabetic macular edema and vein occlusions and ARMD. Subsequently, as the literature kept coming over to how to interpret the depth of information, literally, we were ordering more and more Octa in our patients, and the patients also benefited tremendously from the decreasing the number of investigations that we were ordering to come to a final diagnosis as well as treatment. Now, the depth resolving capability of Octa to assess vascular layers at different levels in the retina and choroid cannot be underestimated. Both FFA and ICG together cannot match the capabilities of an Octa. So as the capabilities of the machine, the upgradations have happened, we could take a 12 into 12 millimeter scan and do a montage, and we will routinely do a Octa to diagnose a PDR in sick patients who otherwise fluorescein angiography cannot be done to other clinical reasons. So the inability of Octa to detect leakage is advantageous, as the hyperfluorescence due to leakage and window defects may impede the detection of CNP areas. We can detect the CNP areas very clearly in these cases. Yeah, and I'll be showing a couple of cases to highlight the importance of Octa in day-to-day practice. This is a case of a serpiginous heel choroiditis that is presented with a fresh decrease in vision. That is present a fresh decrease in vision of 636, previously treated with ATT, recovered at a best correct vision. And the fluorescein angiography, we do not really come to a conclusion as to what this shows, only a staining in the late stage. But you can, on Octa, we can find there's a vascular network in the outer retina and choriocapillaries that clinches the diagnosis of the inflammatory CNV. Now, this is another case referred by a retina specialist who sent us as a bilateral choroiditis. And we can see in the Octa there is a vascular network, and OCT B scan also showing the flow. So Octa has a remarkable accuracy in distinguishing inflammatory CNVMs from inflammatory lesions. Its recognition is mandated to optimize the therapy. This is a fellow of the same patient. The fellow of the same patient, again showing a vascular lesion in the outer network, confirming inflammatory CNVM. CNVM, if you happen to do FFA in these cases, it may not show early hyperfluorescence due to blockage from inflammatory material fluid. And furthermore, sometimes inflammatory lesions may display early hyperfluorescence because of RP surrounding RP damage. So it's very crucial to reach a diagnosis in this patient. And it's also useful in case of serpiginous choroiditis to follow up the patients. Areas of flow deficits that you see in the inner choroid co-localized with the hypofluorescent lesion that you see in ICG. And during the healing stages, the Octa changes that you see in the inner choroid predate the changes in the fundus autofluorescence. So it's good to follow up these cases with the Octa, where you can know the healing is happening at the level of inner choroid. That is a site of pathology in these cases. This is a fellow of the same patient showing healing in the inner choroid.
1 minute left.
And in spite of not able to pick up a leak, the disadvantage of Octa is that you cannot pick up leakage. It doesn't show leakage of fluid. It can be used to make a difficult diagnosis or differential diagnosis between a VKH and a CSR. This is a case of VKH, where we can see in the scan in the choriocapillaris that there is 2 flow voids that you can see. There's the animation that shows that corresponds to the choriocapillaris ischemia as seen in the ICG. And this is this is another case of a patient sent as a diagnosed as a VKH, being treated as a VKH, but in OCTA we see that there is no flow voids, and it ultimately turned out that this patient had a tuberculous uveitis. This is how this is a case of a CSCR where we can see the apparent flow voids. This is not a true flow voids that you see due to sharding from the SRF and PEDs. The other important area where you can make OCTA can make a big difference is in case of diagnosing myopic CNVMs myopic CNVMs within the staphylomas. As you know, most CNVMs do not show they leak less in FFA and also very less SRF or IRF on OCT as compared to wet AMD. So it can be used to diagnose myopic CNVMs. This is an interesting case of post-vitrectomy myopic CNVM that we've been treating with combination of Ozurdex and Eylea. We can pick up the vascular network. This is also useful in the follow-up of these patients. Subsequently, you can see that the edema is decreasing, not only the diagnosis, but also in the follow-up of these patients. And finally, we can also, as the previous speakers have discussed, the branching vascular network can be picked up as accurately as in case of an ICG. And of course, there are many signs of clinical signs on plain OCT that you can pick up polyps in these cases, polyps as well. And finally, it's also is useful to diagnose non-exudative CNVMs, especially in the fellow eyes of patient with exudative ARMD. If you pick up these lesions, they warrant for a more frequent follow-up, and that's a frequent follow-up and early injections. Thank you. I'd like to thank my co-contributors, Dr. Abhilasha and Dr. Anuj Sharma, for sharing me the pictures. Thank you.
Thank you very much.